Hey everyone, Imran Web Squadron. I hope I'm live. I'm going to wait for the first few comments to feed in because that's always my notification that I'm definitely am live. I hope you're all doing okay. Welcome back. I know some people are still not used to me only doing one live chat a week. However, we do have a live chat tomorrow, Thursday, 4 p.m. Code snippets. It's only going to be half an hour because I've got another live chat at 5 p.m. with Jonathan from WP Tonic, which I'm really looking forward to. So I'm going to have some questions posed to me about WordPress and other areas. So I hope to see a lot of you there. If anyone is watching, please put a like or please drop in a comment just to let me know that I am definitely live, because it says there's 8 people watching, but I haven't had a single comment come in yet. There we go, Dave. Thank you very much, friendly girl. How you doing? Happy Halloween. Oh my God. Happy Valentine's. Sorry, I said happy Halloween then. Why did I say Halloween? What was all that about? Hey, Chris from Bangkok. Hope you're okay. Hey, Mark Winterbourne. Halal. Thank you. It's all right. The comments are feeding in. There might have been a delay between them feeding through from YouTube. Hey, Paul. Yo. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you've all had either flowers or presents or surprises or happiness or secret cards or secret prezzies. There's a story I could tell you. Back in 2001, I got to work one day and there was like a red envelope on my table. And I discovered later on that it was some people from work playing a prank. And I was like, who's this from? I couldn't work out who it's from, but it was a prank. Not that it bothered me because I was already seeing someone at the time, but I was a bit like, who the heck from the office has given me this? Hey, Paul, how are you? You managed to join a live for the first time. Suresh, how you doing? You are right, though. Friendly Girl makes a really good point. Between Halloween and Valentine's Day, they are kind of the same thing, right? I hope you like the new moving footage images that I've got on my back end now, Star Wars related. I've got a different one for this one over here. I'm not uploaded it yet. Anyway, I've had a really brilliant couple of days so far, mainly because I've managed to get 3 more modules, or in total 9 lessons done for the Elementor website course, which will be going live on Sunday with the extra lessons. I've also managed to finally get done some payment options, which I think are going to really blow your mind, because you can use what I'm going to show and tell you on any WordPress website, whether it's Elementor, Bricks, Gutenberg, whatever. And it's for maybe you're selling a product or a service. Maybe it's for multiple products. Maybe you don't mind what price people pay, or you want to specify the price and or not the currency. So I've got these 2 separate videos and I'm hoping to release them next week. So it's been really cool. Managed to get 2 big things. One for the course and for some videos for payment options, because I really think you're going to like them. Suresh says that I've been following you for some time. I truly like the content you curate. Great to come online for the first time. Hey, great to have you here. Like I said, I'm here for a live chat where we try to talk about WordPress, even though we don't always talk about just WordPress. We talk about all sorts. We've got a live chat with Code Snippets tomorrow. They might join in or not. Verdi might come on or not. It's not guaranteed. But I'm going to try and talk more about some Code Snippet stuff. Hey, Michael. And at 5 p.m. tomorrow, and if you're part of the Web Squadron Facebook group, there will be a link in there as well. And that link is basically going to be for the WP Tonic. So I'm going to be doing a live chat there. So that's quite a bit of live chats I'll be doing this week. Hey, Michael. Hey, Shy Architect. A topic I wanted to kind of address a little bit was about payments in terms of knowing your value, and how you have to be kind of like confident to break out of the norm. So I'm going to pose a question to everyone that's watching right now, and I really would like it if you actually were really honest, Please do not be influenced by what anyone else writes or types. I want you to be brutally honest, okay? And I don't want anyone to start going, you charge how much? But if someone approached you, right, could be an existing client, could be a brand new person, and they want you to inspect their website, right? In fact, let me change the wording. The performance of their website is dire. It's terrible. It's rubbish. It's like 20% or something really low. Hey, Greg, it's really low, okay? And it might not even be really low. It might be 50%, which I would say, hey, get over it. But let's say it's bothering them for the desktop and the mobile, and they are bothered by it. And they're noticing delays, or they're worried it's affecting conversions and anything else. What would you charge if someone approached you on email or however they get in touch with you and they say, I want you to help me boost my I want you to help me boost my page speed performance. So what are you going to charge for that? Okay? Imagine I've contacted you. So this is for everyone that's online right now, okay? Imagine I've contacted you and I want you to improve my page speed performance. What would you say? Should we start there? What would you say? Or what would you charge? Or give me both, right? You don't know me. You've never worked on my website. I approach you. I want to improve my page speed performance. What are you going to say? What are you going to charge? Right? Flipping son, how about we stick to either the British pound or the US dollars? So Greg says 850. That's a good starting point, Greg, for Greg. And I don't want anyone to be influenced by what anyone says. So Greg, what would you do in that 850? Tell me what you would do in that 850, and don't, no detailed explanation, just what does that 850 contain? So come on, flipping son, what would you do? Dave, Eddie, anyone, you've been contacted out the blue. My website score is like that. What would you charge? Digistratus, you're creating a Japanese style inner curve in a box. Paul wouldn't charge anything. First, he wants to gather information, reasoning, and facts. So let's assume, Paul, you've had a bit of an exchange, right, over the information, reasoning, and facts. So let's say they still want you to boost their score, right? So friendly girl, my question is, someone brand new, a stranger, contacts you and wants you to improve their page speed performance, right? What would you charge, or what would you be saying to them, assuming you've done your research in terms of, you've gathered a bit of information, maybe, right? You've had a bit of an exchange. You have not logged on to their website. You've not logged on, but you've had a bit of an exchange. What would you like to charge? So Greg is saying, find out what the issues are, and then I'll provide them a plan of attack. Okay, I'm going to come back onto that in a moment. India, we get far less, near to $50. How's that? That's okay. All right. Every geographical location in the world is going to have their price point or sweet spot. So I would say if that's what it is, that is what it is. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Never let anyone say there's anything wrong with that. Michael, quick look, most likely 400 to 500. Again, pretty good value. Again, so Greg and Michael are very similar for a quick look, right? So what are you saying and what are you charging? Flipping Sun says, around $80 to $100 an hour, right? Now I'm going to say that isn't always a good way to work because I don't know what that means, but the minimum charge is around 300. So at least we have a minimum charge. And then days work would be 700 to 800 depending on the work. Okay, again, reasonable answer then. I'm going to tell you what I would be doing in a moment. Paul would determine if the hosting was the issue. So, you're going to do a bit of investigation. But would you do that for free, Paul? So even though you said you're going to gather information, would you start to determine the hosting? I mean, you have kind of said, though, you would give them a bespoke price. So sorry, I should have read that fully. So you have kind of clarified that. Friendly girl, depends on the causes. Shy, the equivalent of $75. Right. Now let me tell you what I do. Okay. And I can say this from experience because I get quite a few of these, and not everyone likes the prices, and I don't care because I don't know you. So when someone contacts me and I don't know them, and they sometimes complain, that's too high, I kind of go, well, you can go find someone else then. I charge $860. So Paul actually says they would investigate for free. I would imagine you contact me and you want page speed performance. I will, within 5 minutes, have done a page speed insight check. I might have right-clicked your homepage just to make sure what are you using? Is it Bricks, Elementor? Are you using Squarespace? Do I really want to work with a Squarespace website or anything like that? So page speed insight, and I'll quickly run it through theme detector to detect your theme and any plugins like that, right? I will charge $860 for an inspection, and I make it clear that here's the price. I make no guarantee that I will find the root cause of any problem or issues, because this is a legacy website and I don't know how it has been built or what methods were used, right? So you make that clear. $860, right? That's for me to inspect. I will inspect it and I will give you a written email. I make it clear it's just going to be a written email. I'm not promising you a dedicated video or a dedicated report. After that, if I identify any things to fix or suggestions for what we could try or do, there is then going to be a separate cost which starts at a minimum of $1,200. But that's where it starts from. It could go higher or lower. And again, I remind them that that is not a guarantee of a performance boost. Because remember, no matter how much you inspect, no matter how much you think, oh, you haven't custom loaded your fonts, oh, your images aren't WebP, you might do that and the score might go 51 to 52, or it might even go down to 49. So you got to make clear there's no guarantees. Hey, Mark, if you want to join the live chat, you can do, all right, if you want, but you don't have to. So you're letting them know your cost of inspection, and then there's a separate cost for you to fix. You also make sure that they take a backup before they give access to anyone, even for the inspection. You protect yourself. You make sure they take a backup. You make sure that you are not guaranteeing anything, so they don't turn around and go, why is my score not gone up to 100%? I paid you. Why is my score not gone up? Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
I saw you drinking. Let me get him on quick. Let me stick it. And so you don't make no guarantee. You let them know what you're doing, and you make it clear to them that if there is any suggested work, you'll do your best, you'll work on it, but the cost starts from X. But what I won't do is answer for their hosting. And Greg makes a very good point of this. If you're trying to improve someone's page speed performance and they're using GoDaddy, well, quite frankly, you are from the get-go, okay? You can do what you want. Bluehost. I got someone who had an issue. I made suggestions to them, and I did say, but you are on a Bluehost shared server. So one day your website could be 90%, and then 1 hour later it could be 30%. That's what happens on some it happens. But
We're
anyway,
talking about speed.
What's that? Sorry,
We're talking about speed.
Well, the question I posed, and everyone's been really good on answering, was, let's say a stranger contacts you and says, help me with my page speed performance.
Yeah.
And I was trying to just say to people, you charge them to inspect. You might run it through Page Speed Insights and whatever, and you can do that for free. But the minute you now need to log into the website, you charge for that. You make clear there's no guarantee that you will find the actual cause or even proper solutions, because you don't know what they've done in the back end. It could be Visual Composer, which basically you're like blow your mind. And there's nothing wrong with Visual Composer, but it's a lot more complicated. And even if you then decide we will try and fix it for you, again, there's no guarantee, because I could easily say convert your images into WebP, but the score might go weaving like that. There's no guarantee. And so you have to manage expectation, because years ago, someone might say, do it. I would do it. And the score went to 70% and they're not happy. And I says, yeah, but because you got cookie consent, you got Google tag, you got Facebook pixel, you got all this other stuff going on, and you got a video, and they don't want to get rid of the video in the hero banner. They don't care. And I go, if you get rid of that, I tell you what, this is a real story. I showed them, I made a copy of their homepage and I got rid of the video and the score leapt up. Google tag and Facebook pixel still dropped it down, but no, they're not happy. I've paid you to do page speed performance. I expect 100%. So manage expectation.
Okay. Interesting. Firstly, hi, friendly girl. Hi, Dave. Hi, Eddie. So I won't touch page speed performance unless
I'm not asking you to rub anything.
I'll yeah, all right. Unless they move to my hosting. End of. Not interested in looking at page speed on anything other than a server that I control. What? It was better. You were blurry. That was pleasant for the first few seconds. So yeah, I'm not interested in looking at page speed on GoDaddy's server or anything like that. Secondly, I won't not ever look at Google page speed insights. I'm not interested. I'm interested in time in milliseconds. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I always do remind, like, so last week we had someone and they were whinging about their website being 60%. They'd built it. And I said to them, is it actually slow in real life when you're out and about? Like, have any of your customers or anyone said it's slow? They go, no, but when I test it, the score is low. I went, yeah, I know. But if I go outside right now and I look at your phone on your website on a mobile, it loaded up within a second. Yep. So, kind of get over it.
I mean, the thing that gets me about Google page speed is that their own services are big problems for getting a high score. So they say use Google Tag Manager, they say use Google this, use Google that, and you use them and the score goes down. So why am I even paying any attention to it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. And often what really annoys me, this is the one I find the most annoying, and we'll let Paul jump in, is when you get pulled down because of your time to first byte or your largest content pane. Sometimes your largest content pane is literally your headline. It's not even an image. It's just a text. And it's not because of the font. It's just literally because you got text and it classed that as your largest content pane, and it pulls you down by 2 seconds when it does not take 2 seconds to load up, right? I could be under a subway tunnel somewhere really dark and dingy, like one of those really, weird alleyways where people don't like to go. And I could be there hiding, in a puddle, like lying face down in a gutter drain, having a drink, and I still get a good speed. So, hey, Paul, don't try to imagine it, because I know you.
I'm trying not to imagine, if I'm honest.
You're trying to. Is he face down or
Imran hiding in dark alleys? It's a bit much for a Wednesday, isn't it?
The thing is, we know it's a lie because he doesn't leave the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something has happened though in the world. On a side point though, like when I was a kid, there was always a dark, dingy alleyway somewhere nearby. These days, I never see them. It's almost like they've disappeared. Do you still have dark alleyways, Mark?
No comment.
Only if he pays for them.
They were all over the place, but now they're gone.
And then we get onto if you're talking dark alleyways, then you get onto that interesting conversation about regional names for dark alleyways, like Twitten and things like that. That people have got strange names. If you watch Corrie, they have a weird name.
No, we don't, Mark.
No, I have a life.
Childhood memories, yeah.
I have a life. Not much of one, admittedly, but it's enough that I will never watch that rubbish.
Yeah, right.
No. How are you both doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I was good until I saw Mark's face appear.
Yeah, I know.
What's that on your T-shirt? I can't make it out. What's that on your T-shirt, Paul? What's that? It says Vans off the wall. Is that an album or is that?
No, it's a clothing brand. Vans.
Oh, is that the Vans clothing? I haven't seen that design. No.
So he's so cool. Isn't he,
it is. Yeah.
It's all about the t-shirts, you know that.
So I've got a bit of a full-on week at the moment. I'm rattling through loads of stuff. So today's live chat, then I'm doing the code snippets tomorrow, and then I got invited to WP Tonic, their live chat back in January. So I'm doing that tomorrow at 5 p.m. And I think that's going to be a pretty good, interesting one, because I've been watching some of their previous chats they've done. Because I did one with Kevin Geary, got a bit heated in a few places. But they seem quite a fun bunch, so I'm looking forward to that. And who knows where we go? Obviously, it's probably going to be more
Dark alleys.
WordPress orientated than any of our live chats.
It's either going to be Uranus or a dark alley.
Oh, I will
which
somehow
might be the
get
same.
that in.
So you're going to get Uranus in.
Yeah, well,
isn't that just a back alley? And now we'll move on.
Oh, that is actually really, really good at the moment.
Anyway,
yeah.
Hey, I'm going to surprise you. I've got a redesign job come through, and I'm seriously considering doing it in bricks.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Because it'd take me longer than it would do in Elementor, and therefore cost me more money. But
consider it this way: you're being paid to learn something new.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's where, like, you now really push yourself to make it work. Because sometimes, like, I've used it on 2 sites. Because we spend so much time playing around, we can sometimes when it doesn't do what you want, or you got to think a little bit out of the box, you kind of accommodate or accept. Whereas when you're working on like a client's website, you're gonna, you're
push
really gonna
a bit harder.
put your all in. And
yeah. And I'm using ACSS.
Yeah. Oh. Oh wow! You're
Anyway,
all in now, aren't you?
Time to kick him out, I think.
Yeah. He's proper all in now. He's converted over.
I'm not converted. I just thought I'd give that a whirl.
Honestly, all seriousness, all joking aside, if you start to work with CSS frameworks and stuff like that, I think you'll very quickly go back to a competing product, which will be not named Elementor, and you'll realize how slow lots of things actually are to do. You know, and that's not being critical. It's just like, I know where I've gone back to do sites that I've worked on before. I'll go back and do a tutorial on something, and I'm looking at thinking, why is that? Why have I got to do it that way? That just seems counterintuitive. You know, it seems really slow. And following on from your conversation yesterday, where you're trying to hack in a CSS framework into Elementor, just kind of goes to show that I think you probably know the benefits of using a framework.
Yeah, I do. Of course, I do.
Not Tailwind.
I mean, I was well. That's something I'm itching to have a play around with, but no, I can't remember. I was talking to somebody yesterday about tribalism in our community, because he's a cycle mechanic, and he says even in their forums it's similar. You know,
I think it's human nature.
Yeah, it is.
And I was thinking, I mostly use Elementor, like Imran, but I do understand the benefits of bricks and using a framework with bricks. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to defend Elementor out of some, I'm using it, so it's got to be great. I'm just going to say I'm too lazy to switch, and I can't be bothered right now. There you go.
Look, Imran and myself are probably in very enviable positions. I know Imran still works with clients, and I do to a lesser extent. But because we have the YouTube channels, and part of our kind of job, shall we say, is to explore these other opportunities, other tools and things like that. We can play around a lot more without having that financial hit upon us where I'm losing client money because I'm trying to learn a new product. And it does give us that benefit of being able to sort of say to people, look, I think if you did invest the time in this product, and not specifically, Elementor versus bricks, it could be an SEO package, it could be anything at all. But because we have the benefit of seeing how that compares to probably multiple other tools, it means that we can probably guide people in a direction that they probably wouldn't go in. And whether they listen or not is irrelevant. But just knowing how you would benefit from using something like a framework in your workflow. So the time you invest in learning how to use it, you would probably gain back over the next couple of months in how much quicker you'd be able to not only develop a site, but also update, make changes, and all those kinds of things.
I think the thing that I really hope we get it sometime soon, is the Elementor version of the global classes, because that's the thing that's always stuck out with me about Bricks. The first time I tried that in Bricks, I was like, wow, where has this been all our life? Just want to say hi to Nick, hey to Carapos as well, and anyone, Mia as well, that have jumped in. Something Paul just said, and for the last 5-6 weeks, is something I am slowly putting into place, and it's going to be touch and go, because obviously it affects the income train. Is I feel like there's going to come a point where I'm going to be taking on less website clients. In terms of, I don't mind supporting and helping people out, but in terms of like building a website from scratch, I just feel like it's similar to where Paul was maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, with when you start to juggle content creation and other stuff like that and website design. It's so like there's a friend of mine, and when I say friend of mine, she's my best friend, right? Best friend from university. And I built her website 3 years ago. She's been trying to organize a makeover for 3 months, and this is my best friend. And I keep putting it off, because I feel like I prefer to experiment and play. I don't mind working on websites here and there, or page speed, or let's do this, or let's improve that. But from scratch, start to finish, I'm a bit like, I can't be bloody bothered. I can't be arsed setting up your licenses, and I can't be bothered to do this and that.
Well, I'm kind of like in the same boat at the moment. I've got 2 client projects that are existing long-term clients, and a third one with 2 sites that I've got to make some important changes to, updating the sort of tools you use and things. And I've got to be honest, I'm hating it. I really have no passion for it whatsoever. The only kind of reason I went back to do it is because it helps you keep your hand in with real world scenarios.
Yeah, that is very true.
And there's some benefits to that. But I think once you kind of realize the freedom that being able to, and I know we are different on this front, that I work with different brands doing sponsored content and things like that. So you still have that client creator, should we say, relationship. So you still have to nurture that and understand all that. But there's such a difference in that, because your creativity you can do what you want, basically, as long as you're not detrimental to the brand that you're working with. Whereas with a website, I'm just finding it's like, I've got one client at the moment redoing their website, and they got a video with their logo, and it's like, oh yeah, we really want that as the hero section of our site. It's like, but it does nothing. It literally does nothing. You want to take up the biggest, most important part of your overall landing page, your homepage, and stick a pointless video with your bloody logo on it. And I'm just like, right, that doesn't go into my portfolio then.
Yeah, sometimes you have to make that decision, don't you?
You do, and it sucks.
You can try and persuade and push your clients in the direction that you know is right, but sometimes you just have to say.
Well, no, I mean, what makes it worse is when, like, I've worked with people where they've been advised by an SEO expert, put a video there, and I'm like, no, you don't want to do that, or don't, no, and they. Or like, oh yeah, shove all these keywords in the headline. Doesn't matter if it don't make sense. And I'm like, no. Where'd you get them from?
But the best thing that happens in a long time is SEO experts have basically died out. You go back 10 years ago, every company was an SEO expert contacting all of your clients going, we can rank you number 1 for what? Vehicles. It's like, no, you can't. You really can't. And then it costs you £300 a month. But you've got to go in for 12 months before you'll see results. Biggest con I've ever in my life. What we've kind of found is they buggered off.
What I love is when people say to me, oh yeah, I've studied Neil Patel's videos. I've studied everything he said. And I'm going, yeah, but you do know he's just leading you to purchase his product or whatever. I was going to touch on something Dave has said. Totally agree. It is difficult to juggle, but funnily enough, last night I was working out that my son turns 9 in May. How long until I can train him up to edit videos for me and manage my social media account? And I was like, maybe I'll wait till he's 12.
He's probably better than you already.
No, I started working it out. How can I get support in-house without having to hire someone?
I suppose it would depend if you want to actually change the direction of your channel to go into Minecraft.
He will. Well, he's even said to me, he goes, Dad, when you're too old, I'll take over your channel. I go, I think we're going to lose subscribers. So, we'll have to have some continuity at some point.
Bless.
Fun times coming up there. But yeah, he is quite good on Canva. He is quite, and he uses my ChatGPT account a lot, so I can see his prompts.
That's why you delete your chats. Now I understand.
Yeah, so I posed a question, and loads of people are like, they never do. I have got.
I do.
I mean, the bulk of the chats on there are mine. They're not just his, but so many times I've used it for social media, for looking at a code snippet, for taking a transcript from a podcast or a video, and I said, just summarize it for me, or what are the key. And so many of them are outdated now, or I don't need. And that's one major flaw of ChatGPT, the whole delete. You can get Chrome extensions, but they're not always reliable. You know, where you can just highlight and get rid of loads. But I'm surprised that ChatGPT, after you pay the premium, don't have that like
Bulk select to delete.
not only that, like a folder structure, so I can go, right, all of these are my code snippet prompts, these are social media, these are me. I don't know. I literally did one today to say, I don't understand what this means on my solar panels. Please explain. And it did it a very good job of explaining it for me. It was like,
I mean, you asked ChatGPT if ChatGPT could make a folder structure for ChatGPT.
I did.
Or would you have ChatGPT Inception?
I did. And it failed. It was like, sorry, we can't do this. The capabilities are not there at the moment. So
at least they've identified it.
Has anyone tried Gemini? I went on it last night and I found it, I don't know, I found it busy in terms of, I felt like, well, where do I go for this? And where do I go for that? So, and I found that when it came to creating code snippets, because I put something into the Bing AI, the ChatGPT, and the Gemini AI, and I still found that ChatGPT was better. I don't know if that's because the Gemini is still learning or whatever, but I found it quite busy. I found the interface busy, because that's the reason I like ChatGPT, is that you just get your window, you pop your prompt in, and then ding, 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 you get all the crap. But if you go to Gemini, it feels like they've tried to be too slick with the interface, with nice, frosted panes, and we'll have this window here. But if you go and look,
we do a little bit of glass morphism.
Yes, we do. But I just felt like they made it. I think they made it too intricate, and they forgot that we like it simple. We just want to go in, do our bit.
I think Leonardo AI suffered from the same thing, because that's a great platform, but that kind of felt like it wanted to hold your hand for everything, and it just kind of felt like there was just sliders and selectors and dials and God knows what everywhere, whereas literally you just want to type a prompt in, and it just got a bit sort of a bit annoying. I mean, Eddie says that he likes the fact that you can actually go back in ChatGPT, and I think this is useful. Yeah, because I know that if I'm doing, let's just say, for example, I want some copy for an email sequence. Well, I might want to add another email to that 6 months down the line. So it's just nice that I can go back and that sequence is there. But then, like you say, if you've got you're testing things out, or you're just trying to get some really basic things, it does very quickly become a pain in the butt to have to go in and select them one at a time to delete them. It would be so, even if they just said something simple like, you could bulk select what you wanted and just delete all those ones as opposed to one at a time and then confirm it.
Yeah. Aishman, I've noticed you've asked this question. I mean, I don't quite understand it. You've said, is there a way to prevent duplicate forms from being filled out? Like mail? I'm not quite... I mean, if you're saying someone's done a form and they've hit submit and then they fill it out again, I can't think of any website. I mean, the only time is if it recognizes your IP address and it says, sorry, you've already completed this, and it doesn't allow you to complete it. But then you're going to need a good JavaScripting bit of code or something linked in the form that's going to then identify you and go, sorry, you've already hit send. You can't send, or I don't know, maybe you're applying for a discount or something, and it goes, sorry, you've already done it. You can't do it again. But Dave goes, I'm guessing he wants to restrict submission to one email.
Or one per email.
Yeah. I can't think of any plugin. I mean, I think...
Doesn't Gravity Forms do?
I was going to say, it probably depends on the form you have, and if it's saving that data in the database, maybe tracking your IP address, or maybe just hides the form after submission. You kind of see that in a lot of places. But
I think if the form has got a pre-submit hook, you can get it to look, is this email
Hmm.
address already in the database?
database.
Boom.
But it would need to be stored somewhere. And it depends where you're sending that data. If you're sending it to something like your email marketing software, like MailChimp or MailerLite or
Oh yeah.
something, it's going to have to check that database for it. So you need to sort of supply more information about the specific use case that you're trying to solve before we can kind of have a better idea. I think it's quite a generic question with no real details.
Yeah, Michael, you've said something about the Voila browser plugin. I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is. So please tell us a few more details about that. Paul, obviously
Yes.
you've joined in the live chat. So I'm guessing that, were you recording or investigating anything today?
Well, I've been up since 6 o'clock editing, so
Oh, wow.
I had to do a little insert for something that I missed out in a video that'll be released a little later today. And then doing a bit of research and stuff. I've already done, I think, 4 videos this week that just need to be edited and uploaded and stuff. So I'm trying to be a bit more proactive. And that's to kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier on about content creation and stuff like that. I've found since my focus has moved away from, and this is not dissing Elementor, but since my focus has kind of moved away from that, I've kind of got so many more ideas on creating content. Whereas I think because I covered most of the bases of what you could do with most things with dynamic content in Elementor, and because nothing has really moved on inside Elementor itself, I just kind of felt like I'd come to the point of I had no real ideas of what to create and was really struggling. At the moment, I'm getting up on a Monday morning, recording 5 videos, and it's like there's the next 2 weeks worth of content created, and it's just nice. I mean, I don't know if you. Well, I can kind of say you have kind of come across that a little bit because I can definitely see you've shifted your focus. You still cover Elementor, but you were covering code snippets and creating code snippets and little snippets to do things a lot more than you would have been doing maybe a couple of months ago, where your focus would have been primarily on Elementor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you feel the same?
Yeah, I do. And absolutely. And it's like I said earlier. So I did 2 videos this morning, and I'm showing you how to do it inside Elementor, but the solution you could use on any WordPress website, doesn't matter what it is. And it's something that I've wanted to do for ages. So I'm trying to think more like lateral in that, yeah, I might do it on Elementor, but that doesn't mean you couldn't use it elsewhere. The thing about content creation is that so many videos that we would have done 2 or 3 years ago that are dated, they're really old, and we can see what people are watching. So behind the scenes, we can see if what you're watching now or an hour ago or a day ago, we can see that. And I've got people watching videos from 3 years ago, and I'm surprised they watched them. I really do. Because when I look at the quality, I go, I would never watch that. So you always want to like redo stuff. But yeah, definitely with code snippets. I love that. So in the early days, I wasn't just doing tutorials about how to use Elementor. It was like, how can you answer a question?
Yeah.
And now, like some of the stuff that Mark's put together, like he's been playing around with, could we do a framework with Elementor or not? There's all these little ideas, and you always feel like, I don't know, it's a wonderful feeling because it's really because like you could do a video about custom fields, but all you've done is showing your way of doing it. But if you're able to do something like that no one's thought of yet, that you normally would have had to go for a third-party premium plugin, for instance, it's like, I don't know, it's like a wonderful, warm, fuzzy feeling inside. It's like you've landed on Uranus, and you're like, I'm the first person
Down that ice.
to land on to walk on Uranus.
I bet he's not.
Sorry, Mark's going to say something.
I was just going to say about the warm fuzzy feeling. It was a bit like at the weekend when I
I think someone's trying to get at the cupboard.
No, what is that? Oh, just
is it your dog?
No, it's somebody from the office next door leaving sweets outside my office door, and it looked like a small packet of love hearts and a heart-shaped chocolate.
Oh, well, it is Valentine's. It is Valentine's.
Yeah, but I really don't fancy him.
Well, you say that. I mean, in the darkness of a car park where you're flashing your lights, you know.
Here we go again. So no, I made some changes to the Unsplash snippet to get it to load image to your media library.
That's right.
To. And that gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Well, the funny thing is, right, since you've been kind of releasing these videos, I've kind of not so much last week, the week before, I think it was. I thought I'm gonna have a little play about testing out like ChatGPT, testing out what's it called, Auto WP or W Auto, whatever it is, I can't think of the name of it. Because, like you say, there's a lot of little plugins that we use or things that you want to tweak that you don't like about the WordPress admin. Like, for example, adding something as simple as a column into your media library that shows the file size. I don't want a plugin for that. I simply want a code snippet. And as you say, it's like I've got a video that's covering how to, what was it? Well, it's covering something as you do with the AI setting. I can't think off the top of my head. I've been playing with a few of them. But like I said, I'm showing how to do it using on the Bricks site, on my Bricks site kind of thing. But it doesn't matter. It's completely agnostic. And I think sometimes that's lost on some people that watch videos.
It is.
Because I released a video a couple of weeks back, and it was like, I think it was a custom dashboard, something like that anyway. I think it's like, the first thing I said is, this is not about bricks. This is literally about whatever builder you want to use, or just core WordPress. Use whatever you want. But then you'll get comments going, oh, how do I do this in Elementor? It's not using bloody Elementor. Just build your own design. All the rest of it is agnostic.
I think some people they fail to like appreciate that like some code snippets are very relevant to maybe the page builder, maybe because it is specifically for something. There are a few of them, but a lot of the HTML codes or even CodePen codes, you can use them where you want, and all we're doing is our tool of choice, or what we just want to quickly do it, put it together. But they're the things that I think I've started realizing have a bigger and better outreach. And it's a bit like why, I don't know if you've watched them or not, you don't have to watch them, but on Sundays, I try and put out videos which are actually nothing to do with your WordPress. They're more business related or advice or tips or, you know, getting you to think a bit differently. And
get rich quick schemes.
Yeah, well, no, not really. Well, yeah, kind of a little bit, but but you know, like, we are going to make $10,000 in one day or whatever. But I always feel like, you know, like what's the word I'm trying to say? You can be more expressive and open and honest about what you think, rather than saying it's got to be WordPress, it's got to be bricks or whatever like that. Because people then associate you only with those products, and it allows you to open up a little bit and experiment, you know, into other areas. So having that bit of freedom, I think, is really, really good. And I think that goes with you, Mark, you know, in terms of like, if you were to go back 6 months ago, people knew you from the live chats, you jump in and out, you know, even when you were joining in now and again, they knew you from that. But now people start to consider you as a bit of a code snippet extraordinaire.
And you can't get rid of him in these chats.
No.
Well,
you know,
you've started turning up like a bad
I know,
every week as well. So what are you talking about?
Not every week. Not every week. I wasn't here last week, was I? Oh, no.
No, actually, no. I didn't make it last week.
No, I don't think you were. No. And I think it was probably the most educational live chat we had last week when you guys weren't here. So it was
just a shame only 3 people watched.
In fact, oh, Friendly Girl has made a good point. She goes, do you know something? It's only this. There's a story behind this, okay? No, there's just a story behind it. It's
only Imran is focused on Uranus.
Yeah, really, we're just humoring
No, it was just like, you know, there was a meeting, and it was about the use of language. And it was an NHS meeting. You know, it was talking about how you have to be careful what you say in certain meetings and the way you pronounce it. And I then said, well, you know, like, you got to be careful of how you use the word analyst. You don't want to say you're an analyst. And then it started this whole conversation about Uranus and Uranus and all of that. And it just, like, I remember there were a lot of people in that meeting not happy with me. In fact, I don't think we ever spoke.
That was the last day he was in the NHS.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Tells us he leaves because he got bored. No.
Yeah. But let's be honest about it. This is one of the reasons why the NHS is on its arse, because they're all more talking about Uranus than anything else.
Do you know something? That is so. Obviously, I left the NHS 2 years ago, and I've said to people that, believe it or not, one of the biggest reasons was meetings for meetings' sake. There was no benefit, and that even is the same mindset I have now, with where some people say, hey, can we set up a meeting to talk about WordPress or whatever? And I'm like, unless I can see a benefit for me financially or something that's going to help my branding or career, I really don't care. And I get a bit bogged down where someone then says, "Hey, Imran, I'm introducing you to X someone who I think you should get together with because I think you could do something with them." And I'm like, I really don't care. Why can't you just tell me in the email now what you would like me to do? Why do I have to sit there and talk about, hey, I'm Imran, who are you? And what do you do? And oh, yeah, what? I don't give a shit deep down. I really don't. There's got to be something in it. And I'm not going to go into details. But another influencer is currently doing something on their YouTube channel, which helps them to shift some products, and hopefully we'll have a get together to talk to them about it because it's got a benefit to us, lots of us, right, Paul? But they're the kind of meetings that we want.
So you're going, what are you talking
No,
about?
we're not going to share any more details. But if it was just like, hey, let's just have a chat and give each other a pat on the back, you kind of go, no. What's in it for me? And that's the same with even when someone contacts me and they go, oh, can we have a, that's why I charge for one-to-ones. Sorry, I'm going off on one. That's why I charge for one-to-one consultations. You know, I'm not going to do it for free because why should I give up my time? You know,
I think
anyway.
that's the difficult thing. Is that there is,
it's really, yeah.
It's this, I think it's the same with, you just higher profile when you're on YouTube. There's more people know about you. So I think that's different. But I think it's the same in business. I mean, I'm sure Mark can attest to this. It's like, and you've probably got clients or potential clients that they just want to have a meeting after a meeting after a meeting after a meeting. It's like,
or a phone call.
What benefit is it? What are we gonna do in this hour that you want to take out of my day? What are you actually going to do that's going to push this project forward? Chances are 5 minutes worth of information and 55 minutes worth of crap questions and stuff.
And that information, you'll probably ask them at the end of the meeting, could you email me the details of what you said? So I've got it in writing, please.
Yep, exactly.
But I mean, people wouldn't query when a solicitor charges them for an hour long meeting.
Exactly.
Or accountant.
But why is that? Because that's being sort of integrated into our mindset in society that's what they do. So it becomes accepted. Whereas, but the thing is, the problem we've got is if you're an accountant or you're a lawyer or solicitor or whatever you kind of term it as, then you're deemed as being a professional because you've trained in that thing. Same as a medical I had to go to a sort of trying to get into the NHS sort of a year or so ago was just a no-go. So I ended up going private. I'm paying for each of those consultations and so on. But you kind of don't mind doing that because you know you're going to get the one-to-one with the doctor. I mean, the consultation is like, I think it's 115 quid. But you get 45 minutes with that doctor or that specialist or whatever it is. You can't even get an appointment with your local GP. And if you do, it's 5 minutes. At which point, they've already got the prescription written out for you. It's either going to be painkillers or antidepressants, and that's basically everything that they do. It's true, though.
And they treat you like shit.
Or anal medication. There's stuff you show up your anus, like they go, hey, pop this up.
No, we'll leave that to you.
Jeez.
But I think that's the difference is they don't look at web designers as professionals.
No.
They look at people obsessed with Uranus.
We might have got, the problem is as well, I think, the trajectory of kind of web designers changed, and we're no longer looked at as professionals because Imran's $50 website video that had me almost wanted to throw my monitor out the window the other day. It's like, why would anybody expect to pay somebody who charges 50 quid for their time in a meeting?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like, even with web designers, it's your branding. Because there's like, if you look at a lot of TikTokers and people like that, they are charging left, right, center money, whatever, and people are paying for it. And it comes down to, if you don't care about your brand and you're not putting yourself out there, and you don't have to create videos, but you're not always out there, you're not sharing advice. Look, let me give you an example. There are some people who are on LinkedIn a lot, and they're always posting advice about SEO and whatever, and they're just regurgitating. But you can see they're building a following, they're building a brand, and they're probably making a load of money with people paying them for appointments or meetings. And so a lot of it just comes down to brand.
And speaking of brand, apart from sort of major brands, Pepsi, or these global brands, Instagram, TikTok, social media has made individuals brands in a way that we've never seen before.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, Imran is quite fortunate in the fact that he is a brand in the WordPress community, and therefore, when he says, "Oh, I charge £160 for a one-to-one," there's a reason behind that. He is known. He is. I feel like I want to poke my eye. He is someone. He is kind of famous
that's
in
who
the
left
same
the
way.
sweets outside.
In the same way, Paul is famous in the community. In the same way, Kevin is famous in the community. All these people, and they can therefore increase their rates off the back of that. Somebody to have a one-to-one with Paul, we'd probably look at charging them a grand. It's Paul. But no, my point is.
No, you're right. You are right. And the funny thing was, I watched a video this morning, a Wes McDowell video, and it's traditional SEO is dead. And his point was basically because of AI and the amount of content that AI can churn out and all those kinds of things, the traditional methods of creating content, having backlinks and all those kinds of things to improve your SEO and your visibility online is now harder than it ever has been. Whereas YouTube being the second biggest search engine, if you put yourself on there in whatever format, then you've got a better chance because obviously results now when it comes to Google, it'll show video results from YouTube and so on. These are all things that help set you apart and do half of the marketing for you. So like you've just said, for example, like if someone wants Imran to do a website for them, then they kind of already know, like, and trust him. You've got those three influencing factors. And one of the key things that people, but if they're going to come to you in the first place, they've obviously gone through that.
They know what they're getting.
Yeah.
They know that you're not just pretending to be called Tom and you claim to have an office in New York. They kind of know who you are.
Oh, shit, I got to close my office down in New York.
Or an alleyway.
Oh, very nice. Anyway, but no, do you know what I mean? It's like, if you put yourself out there in whatever format, I mean, this is one of the things that Kevin does this very, very well. Kevin Geary does this very, very well. He is outspoken. He gives his opinion. He says what he thinks is the right way to approach things. And not everybody's going to agree with it. Not everybody, but I can imagine there's been an exponential increase in people contacting his agency to get work done. And the reason for that, why? A big part of it is probably going to be because he's put himself out there. Oh, good God.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Actually, you've just reminded me of a really interesting conversation I had with somebody.
Hang on, before you do, I see what's it called? I see you've gone back for a second viewing in that house from the week before last.
Yeah. What's going to happen in about 5 or 10 minutes? He'll zip behind that screen and change
who's behind the
superhero costume.
Who is behind there?
Super Atif.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
He's in some doctor's waiting room.
So what Paul said about Kevin having his style that is kind of
polarising.
Yeah. So I was having a chat with a guy who's worked in marketing 30 odd years, and he's recently built a new website for something he does that isn't working. But in every way you'd look at it, it is much better than his old website. And he mentioned something called the 80-20 rule, in that your site is better off pissing off 80% of people, and 20% of people, for some reason, love it. I mean, really love it, than being just grey, bland, and what every other site is. I mean, examples of that, things like Ling's Cars. I'm sure you must have heard of that.
Oh, God,
exactly.
Oh, wow. That was one hell of a website.
Still exists.
But people want personality. People want opinions. And I think that's what Kevin is doing very, very well.
It was her, because she actually appeared on Dragon's Den in the early days as well. And it was her. I don't want to put on the accent because someone won't like it, but she was like very,
a bit
like Atif.
So, being like Marmite. I mean, look at political parties. It doesn't matter, they're roughly 50-50 split, but that doesn't stop one of them getting in power and that changing a few years later. And for some people, if you're a Labour voter, you probably hate the Tories and vice versa.
Can you tell the difference
between Labour and Tory these days?
Yeah.
Not really.
Isn't Keir Starmer just a Tory in disguise?
Not since Tony Blair. No, you can't. But anyway, we won't stray down that alley or that
No.
particular alley.
Yeah.
No matter how dark or light it is.
Yeah. How's that?
The red light up here from my camera and the dark at the bottom, you can see there's a clear divide. You've got the dark backgrounds,
Oh,
dark,
yeah,
and you've got
yeah,
the
no,
light.
yeah.
There's a reason you're up there and we are down here.
Well, I'm gonna let Artie get all the attention by minimizing us and having you. Oh no, you've gone a bit. Oh, there you go. You're back in.
see,
Yeah.
no,
You
So what are
blurred
you
me. Why are you blurring me for Imran?
No, I'm not. What are you up to today?
Just viewing a few homes, walking around, making a cup of tea, have a coffee.
pushing
No,
us down
this,
the business.
No, but I would say
getting some of Paul's cars washed.
Oh,
No bloody time as well.
but I
Our
would
wings never
say,
look so dirty.
no, I would say to anyone watching, if they are still struggling with like, you know, getting traction or clients or work, you got to work on your brand, and there really is no excuse now, you know, to get yourself out there. You've got to put aside a bit of time.
I think this seems to be the thing. You have to be polarizing now to stand out. This is the thing. I think even YouTube now is becoming so saturated. So like a WordPress and WordPress tutorials, you know, who's standing out, I think, are people who have maybe a personality and they say things which are controversial.
Yeah, I would struggle to kind of be like how some people are, where they polarize. I think the moment I know I've upset someone, if I know I've intentionally done it because I wanted to polarize, because I want to get that attention, and I know I've upset someone, it doesn't sit well with me. I like to, if someone misinterprets something, that's misinterpretation.
no,
Yeah.
say what we like to you.
Yeah,
You say
well,
so many things
behind
to
the
me.
scenes, we do say quite a lot behind the scenes, don't we?
but don't you think though that's because that's the British way? It's
Maybe,
like,
yeah. I think you're.
I think it
you're
is.
right.
I think there's a big difference between, because there's things that different people do, the way they market and promote and things like that, and it's like it just really gets under my skin, and I could never imagine doing it, but it really works. But I think that's not down to. I think that's just the difference in how we perceive things based in the UK to how people in the US, maybe Australia, you know, different places like that will actually see things. And what is the accepted norm? I think it kind of goes back to that thing we talked about earlier on. Why do web designers have such low regard in a lot of ways, whereas like your politicians, whereas your sort of like solicitor and so on would have a different kind of perception of them? It's because of the way that society perceives that value that they bring, or, you know, that opinion, or the way they market and promote or hold themselves. I think it's just different in different countries.
And actually, web design is a really complicated example, because an awful lot of people think if you can use an app on your phone, you're a web designer.
Yeah, it's like a photographer. It's like a wedding photographer. But you've got an iPhone 15. Surely you can take all my wedding photos for me for £5.
Oh, but professionals don't use. Sorry.
Let's not go down there.
Here we go. Now, here we go.
Professionals use Tailwind.
Yeah.
I'm not dissing Tailwind. I've never used it, but it's just like that seems to be the hot topic.
Current flavour of the month is Tailwind. Yeah.
And I want to give kudos to Louis from Quickly for the video he did the other week. I thought it was very, very respectful, and I thought it was very, very well handled, but also the fact he stood his ground. Massive kudos, because he could have quite easily just sort of gone, no, you're right. And he didn't. And he pulled up everything he disagreed with, and I thought it was great.
I've just had a sudden thought, and this is totally inappropriate, but when you think about the name Tailwind.
Yeah, go on.
Where are you going?
Why did they come up with? Yeah, well, no, not only that, wind, it's tail, so it's on your rear end, and we've gone full circle back to the Uranus again.
Took him a little while to get there.
I'm just saying, right? We've gone full circle again.
The friendly girl. This is what he does in his spare time. This is all he does.
Yeah.
Do we even know where the name Tailwind actually? How do they come up with that name? Sometimes I do. Don't you often think like some product?
That's the forked.
Where did they
product,
come
Dave.
up with that name? Like, what was the reasoning behind it?
It probably means something completely different where the developer's from.
Yeah.
Maybe,
although I think Dave probably had the right thing.
Artie,
maybe Dave was the right one and said that's what the original name was. And he kind of just wanted to soften the blow a bit. He just wanted to soften the blow a bit.
I do wonder sometimes. I don't know. Believe me, the strange thoughts that come into my mind is quite amazing. Yes, yeah. We've been live for 59 minutes, so we're going to hang around for probably another couple more minutes. But do you want to just round off what you guys have got on for the rest of the day, whatever? I've got to edit some videos and then just finalize lessons for the Elementor course, extra modules and all that. But has anyone got anything exciting for the rest of today or what you're working on? Mark?
See if I can actually build a site using bricks and not.
Oh, you'll
Get
be
angry.
fine. I think you'll be
Oh,
fine.
and it's WooCommerce as well, just to.
Oh, right.
Okay. You will be fine, but Woo is
It's
Woo.
not. It's not that complicated.
All right, basic Woo, you'll be absolutely fine. Paul?
I'm going to just wrap up my videos and go play Baldur's Gate 3.
No, Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is what you've got to be playing at the moment.
That sounds like a dodgy film to me.
Imagine playing Starship Troopers.
Have they changed it?
Oh.
Have they changed
brilliant.
Helldivers 2? Because I think I saw a clip where it looked more first person rather than top down.
It's third person. The original Helldivers was top down. Helldivers 2 is third person.
Can I clarify? When I said top down, I mean like when you're playing a game and you can view not top down.
Isometric view. Yeah. We know. We don't all sit there playing it with our tops down. So there will be some time for that later on today.
But have you tried Baldur's Gate 3 yet, Mark? Because am I right in saying you used to like the sort of role play inside of things? Not that kind of role play before anybody says.
It's been known. I find with games like Baldur's Gate and all those Larian Studios games is you walk into a room and there's like 50,000 different things to open and look at, and it's like, if I don't open that pot, I might miss out on
FOMO.
I can't cope with it. I just can't cope, and I'm sure it's brilliant.
It is really good. I don't usually like those kinds of games, but it is really good.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII, the reverb. I know you don't like. I'm literally going to go and get a PS5. I think later on this week just to play the game. And I need to hide it in my room so my son never knows I've got the PS5. I'm not going to let him know about it. I'm going to play it late at night.
Videos?
I'm going to while I'm sat here in my jogging bottom playing the game with my fingers. That's what.
But I will also be watching the second episode of Halo Season 2.
Ah, yes, yeah.
No, I've not watched any of that. Is it good?
No, maybe.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think you kind of go in there with the sort of mindset it's going to be your typical sort of tie into the Halo brand. It's going to be a bag of poop. But it was actually quite good. And the main character that actually plays Master Chief, I think he carries it off really well.
Was there not some? Did I see something got so many people up in arms that he was going to take his helmet off in season?
The helmet's off. It's not bloody Darth Vader, for Christ's sake.
Or the Mandalorian.
Again, just to clarify, Halo, the helmet on the head. Okay, again, because I feel like everything we're saying in the last 30 seconds, nearly everything we've said just keeps it could be multiply interpreted.
Not everybody assumes the worst, Imran.
If they're watching Imran's live streams, they probably do.
Do you know what? Again, I'm telling you something about the NHS you don't really want to know, but I was known for Imran nuendos in the office.
Now I like that.
I was very known for taking anything that was said and just spinning it around. And yes, it never went down well with certain people. I couldn't give a shit. Just
to clarify, the spinning it around and never went down well is nothing to do with anything you might be thinking of. Just for clarity, just apparently we've got to put these disclaimers out every time you say something.
Just want to say,
should cover the warning.
Just to say hi to George. Not seen him for a while, but hope you're okay, mate. Artie, we're going to end in a bit, but what are you working on today? Anything exciting or?
I have a few updates to do. There are bricks updates, a few sites that need that. And there's one site with bricks and WooCommerce, which is not playing nice. And
don't say that.
Yeah, that's why I laugh.
Say that.
Nice one.
You know, the hard thing is just trying to find ways to customize some of the emails. And I'm trying MailPoet.
Code snippet, dude. Code snippets. You can look into all the parts of the email, no problem.
But WooCommerce is crap like that. It's so locked down that you need a plugin for every
really
bloody thing.
Is for those
emails that it sends out. It's so ugly. Yeah,
it is. It's
I'm trying to find a nice way to do it.
But on the other hand, it's probably form versus function and deliverability. You know, they want them simple to help with deliverability and
to be honest, I think I would probably look at taking it completely out of WooCommerce and just using some kind of, like Flowmatic or something like that to connect it up to your external mail sources, and use anything like Fluent CRM or something to do with transactional emails, and take all that out of WooCommerce and just handle it externally, where you have full control over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
But there again, can you imagine a client paying the extra for you to do that?
I intentionally,
Charge them in the first place.
I am very picky, choosy over what websites I'm going to work with. But I try to resist working on WooCommerce just because I've never enjoyed them ever. Even your basic one, you always feel like there's something.
It feels like it's held together with duct tape and super glue most of the time.
I know, and just going through the WooCommerce settings alone, just this setup just gets me like, oh, here we go, let's do this now. And payment gateways, and then you find out they haven't got a business account. Then they go and set up a business account, or they haven't entered in their directors and the percentage split of the business in Stripe, and it's like, just gets you down. It takes away the fun. I always feel like some of the admin side of thing just ruins the fun side of web design.
Yeah, but WooCommerce and fun are not usually in the same sentence.
Lots of people that actually do, they always say, don't use Woo, never use it. But I wonder, what else do they use? What is it that they recommend?
Well, that's just it. I mean, with WordPress, I know there's all the shortcut and all of that, but deep down with WordPress, is there anything else that you would ever really strongly recommend? And there are these like one-stop solutions, like a one-page shopping solution or whatever's, not just shortcut, but they're very limited in what you can use them for. Like they might satisfy that, but then that's it. Yeah. And they're very locked down. So
I would question whether WooCommerce is even, it's so heavy. I know they try to make it better, but it's so heavy that I don't know. I think I would probably push people to external services like Shopify, or just even take it off the WordPress platform. I'm not saying Shopify specifically, but just take it off WordPress.
No.
I mean,
no, Paul, you're right. I did that with an old friend who they sell artwork, and they were considering WordPress. And when I said to them, "What are you going to do?" and they said, "Just sell their art pieces," I went, "You just go Shopify." I says, yeah, within half a day, you'll get everything done and dusted. And you're stuck in their infrastructure.
And their pricing goes a bit.
But yeah, and that I did explain. That says right. Yeah. But then I said, but then, everything, your domain, your host, everything's just one place. And that's all they ever intended to do, and I was like, fine, just do that then. They're not going to do any fancy. They're not going to have a fancy contact page, not going to do anything fancy. Fine, just go with that. So, yeah.
It does surprise me. Still, there aren't many more alternatives or competitors that are doing it.
I don't get that either. I
wonder if it's because they got such a monopoly, and because it's now automatic. Well, there's such a monopoly, and they've got a bank balance behind them, don't they?
Yeah. But also, what's the development time and cost of building something that can compete straight away?
Code snippets.
Yeah. Oh, please.
I mean, the only contender that's trying to make a sort of splash in that market is North Commerce, and that seems to have been in beta forever. And the fact that they wanted you to pay for the beta, and it's still in beta for anyone that's not in the UK. I just think that already puts it at a disadvantage. They haven't shipped the final product, even if it was a version 1 final product. And I think that's just a very difficult sell for people when they want, I think it was like $599.
Haven't the guys who did that Hummingbird product, I can't remember what they're called, they got loads of plugins.
Isn't that a nightclub?
No, you buy their club membership and you get access to all their plugins, and it's not
Hummingbird.
That was their speed plugin, but
the one with Forminator, Smush, Hummingbird.
Oh,
WP. What are they called?
I know who you mean. I can't remember the name.
WPMU Dev.
That's it.
There you go. Yeah. George got it at the same time as me. Look.
Don't they have...
yes, there you go. Yeah. I
don't think so.
Can someone tell me if I'm wrong? But when Shortcut first came out, I think a lot of us got excited. But as far as I know, it is still virtual products, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I don't think they do real products, but it's still, while they might have sort of reason to kind of move in that direction, I don't think they're there yet, and I think that would just be such a big ask to compete with WooCommerce.
I'm a bit disappointed by that, because when they first announced, I was like, wow, we may now have a contender where you now get to choose something different. And it's, I don't know, what are we, 2 years on now, I'd say?
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, it's like with digital products, I would stay out of WooCommerce. I would stay out of WordPress, sorry, completely. I do mine by a lemon squeezy because it handles the tax, handles all that side of things globally. And it's just easy. Do you know what I mean? You can have your kind of store set up on there if you're selling digital products. I think you can do real products as well, but it'll handle licensing, all those kinds of things. It's just like, with a product like that, I don't see why you'd want to tie everything into WordPress.
No.
I just think, there's too many things that you can think, there's a WordPress plugin that does this, and it's a massive thing, like a CRM, for example. And I'm talking like a traditional CRM, like HubSpot. Why just not use HubSpot or one of those kind of services? They're scalable. You take it out of having to deal with WooCommerce and updates and security issues and all that kind of stuff that is just a daily grind when it comes to WordPress.
Right. We're going to close off in a moment, but the final question I want to ask is, Artif, behind you, there is something there. It looks like a stick. I can't really work out what it is. It's close to the ceiling. What is that? Yeah, that. Yeah, that. What is that?
That's what he does his sit-ups.
Are you in a doctor's
surgery?
It is a doctor's surgery.
Right.
It's in a doctor's
I work here. I didn't
realize gynecologist needed to find out at all you were.
No, but yeah, no, so Artif, I know he does work in the health industry. Are you actually in a health location?
Yeah, I'm in one of our. I don't really have like a proper office, so I take
like
up
a
like a clinic room.
gynecology department where you inspect people.
Your mind always goes there, Imran.
My mind
never have a session with one of our
psychiatrists.
I think we should really benefit from having an hour therapy session.
I was a health analyst, however you want to word it. Okay.
Always seems to go to like this part of the body for you.
When I used to do conferences, talking to doctors and hospitals about the pricing, and it's known as payment by results, I would always bring up the example for what is the cost of treating someone with flatulence, and I'd bring up the code and the cost breakdown and how long it takes to treat them and what are the treatment methods. You could just see the audience sat there going, "Do we need to know this?" And I'd say, "It's a real life example." Anyway, I'm going to say thank you to Paul. Mark. It's brought back memories.
I'd say sorry, no thank you.
But yeah, thank you to everyone. Thank you for everyone watching as well. If you've not smashed the like button, I totally understand. I understand if you're all disliking today's live chat completely, and if you're feeling like
I like George's comment.
We've said
George's comment makes sense.
Yes, I'll be back tomorrow, 4:00. Code snippets, and then at 5 p.m. I'm joining WP Tonic on their live chat, and I'll post a link to that in the Web Squadron Facebook group. I want to say thanks again to Paul, Mark, Artif, and whoever is behind that screen, who's probably wants to go, they're probably dying to go to the loo. That's stuck behind there. Okay, everyone. Thanks again. Take care. See you soon. Bye.